Thanks for joining us for Understanding Real Estate with Realtor Becky Cobb of West Cobb Alliance, part of the ReeceNichols Real Estate Group in Neosho.
Welcome back, Becky. And so for today, I have this question. What is the number one mistake that sellers make today?
It's trusting the wrong number. Do you know what I mean by that?
The wrong number.
The wrong number. Okay, so this is what happens. You want to sell your house. You jump on Zillow. They give you an amount. You go over and look at Redfin. They give you an amount. You look at Realtor.com, and you know what you're doing. You're trusting the wrong number, especially in our market, because those are all calculated by algorithms that if you live in an area where everything is the same, a homogeneous neighborhood of every house is pretty much the same, well, then they can give you a pretty good idea of what your house is worth. But in the Newton County, Missouri area, in all these counties down here in southwest Missouri, we have a lot of varied styles. Your neighbor's house doesn't look like your house in most cases. There are some divisions. So who's the number one person you can trust to give you the right value for your home? You know what I'm going to say. It's your real estate agent. But I'm backed up by some facts here. According to stats collected by Keeping Current Matters, 56% of the real estate agents hired to sell the home are the ones that are the most trusted to help you come up with the right number. And we know how your home's going to compare to the current competition in the market. We know how to price your house for urgency in this market. So honestly, talk to your realtor. Whichever realtor is your favorite realtor, talk to your realtor, and they're going to help you price your home to get it sold.
And they'll give you the right number.
They'll give you the right number.
All right, for today, Becky, help us understand what equity is.
Equity is pretty important to you as a homeowner. And simply put, this is what equity is. You buy your house at $100,000 and you start paying it down. So let's say you've paid $25,000 down on your house, so now you owe $75,000. But in the last 5 years or so since you bought that house, property values have gone up. And your market says your house is worth $175,000. So it's worth $175,000. And you still owe $75,000. So you know what? You're back to where you have $100,000 worth of equity in that home. So do you see how you made some money there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
That is exciting. And you know what? You can do all sorts of things with that equity. If you want to do some home improvements, several area banks will do what they call a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. And that could be something that you could use to make some needed upgrades, to add a room, add a garage, a shop, maybe replace the roof, those sorts of things. Maybe you need to borrow against it because you have a student that's ready to go off to college. So that's another way you could use that equity. Maybe you just want to call me or call one of my comrades and sell that. And then you've got, $100,000 free and clear for a down payment on the next home. So your home equity is something that it helps you build wealth, and it is one of the greatest wealth builders in our country. So take a look at that. Remember, it's more than just a place to live. It's how you are building your wealth.
Give us some of the stats on some of the data around the country as we look at homeowners.
I find this really interesting. I guess because back when I first bought my first home, I remember my mother-in-law saying, you're never going to actually own your home outright. But you know what? A lot of people do, and it's exciting when you see these numbers here. So right now, United States, 39% of people own their home outright without owing anything on it at all. That means they're sitting on a ton of equity, a ton of value. Another 27% have at least 50% equity in their homes. And so then that leaves about 33% that have less than 50% equity. So 2/3 of homeowners have paid off their mortgage or have at least 50% equity value in their home. And that is quite exciting. And it's, it says here it's a really big deal. In case you're wondering, in real dollars across the United States, that means the typical homeowner has about $300,000 in equity today. That's pretty huge. Probably in our area, I would say that home values are not quite that high. So maybe they have $250,000, something like that. It really depends on the value of the home. Mm-hmm. But pretty exciting when you think about what that means to families, what that means for generational wealth. Bottom line, your home equity is one of the biggest financial assets you have. Whether you're thinking about moving, remodeling, or working towards a bigger goal, it's worth exploring your options and find out if you can use that home equity to your advantage in some other way. So it's lots of things to think about.
How can those older generations use their equity to help the younger?
Some of the things I've been looking at, we're seeing this more and more that, grandma and grandpa or mom and dad, they have their house completely paid off. And like we said yesterday, you might have around $300,000 worth of equity in your home, or maybe more, maybe less. But you've got some value built up in your home. And now, let's say you got a grandchild that's ready to go off to college, but maybe the funds aren't quite there. That's one way you could use the equity you have in your home. You can borrow against that, get a home equity line of credit, and help pay for those college expenses. Sometimes it's to help the next generation with that down payment. Maybe they can manage the payment of a monthly payment of a home, but getting that down payment put together. And so that might be another way. If this is money that you're thinking about, you're going to be passing on to the next generation anyway, you might want to rethink about how that money gets transferred. Now, I'm not in a position to tell you the legal and the right way to do that. You better consult with your attorneys, your accountants, and such. But there is the option to use some of that value you have in your property and transfer it to a younger person in your family that can help them get a good start in life. And you know what? We know moms, dads, grandmas, and grandpas, we're always pretty happy to be able to help the kids when we can in a way that's meaningful.
Well, Becky, this week, let's look at new construction. What's going on in that area?
Well, nationally, 16% of homes purchased in the last year were brand new. Brand new's fun because everything, of course, is brand new, and it allows you to customize your home, and it allows you to design a home for your own style. One of the issues that we've had, like in our area, post 2008, 2010, when we have that big crash, a lot of home construction halted. But we have been seeing a resurgence. There are several areas in Southwest Missouri where we're seeing new homes go up. Lots of really good builders in our area that are getting active again. And so it's fun if, you want a new home. We see several of those available in our market. And, I bought a new home several years ago, and it really is kind of nice when you're like, okay, nothing better be breaking, or if it is, I'm calling the warranty people. So take a look around. If you're not finding what you want in a pre-existing home, we can probably, or someone from the real estate world can connect you with a contractor, and then you can make your own home exactly what you want it to be.
So, Becky, here where we are, we're in one of the most affordable markets in the nation. But around here, is it better to rent or to buy?
Well, I know sometimes it's hard to take that leap from renting into buying. It involves, going and getting your credit checked and talking with a lender, and maybe you have to save up some money and such. But by far, the best way for you to build wealth, and currently still the most affordable way to have a roof over your head in Southwest Missouri, is to be a homeowner. So we're showing that about 58% of the counties across the U.S., it's more affordable to own a home than it is to rent a home. And that's in spite of what sometimes you might see in national media statistics. But in the Midwest, the stats are showing that our counties are showing about 81% of the counties are way more affordable to own a home than to rent a home, and that's a 3-bedroom home. So Midwest and the South, we're still in some of the most affordable part of the country, and it's a good plan for building wealth. We've been talking about equity, and I would just say to young people, get yourself prepped, get ready to buy, because that in the long run is going to help you provide for your family for many years to come.
If you would like to know more about understanding real estate, you may contact Becky Cobb at 417-592-3245 of the West Cobb Alliance, your Realtors for Life. Find out more on the web at neosho.homes.